conceive, believe, achieve. Shut the f*** up.
And new undisputed UFC middleweight champion of the world, Michael the Count Bisping.
This is Believe You Me on the Gas Digital Network.
We're back. We're back. It's a Monday, the 14th of May. Michael Bisping is in lovely California. Looking good, champ.
As usual.
So,
Yeah, thank you, buddy. Just finished a nice run in the sun. Of course, Monday morning, big UFC event of the week in UFC 224. Lots of that was a great fight card. Lots of things to talk about. Machida knocked out Belfort. Raquel Pennington got defeated against Amanda Nunes. Bit of controversy there. We'll get into that in a little bit. We're going to get Jason Parillo to call in. Obviously, a very, very experienced cornerman himself. So we'll get his opinions on that. Lots of other things going on. But, of course, yesterday was Mother's Day, Lewis. Did you, what happened in your life yesterday?
I mean, look, my mom passed away when I was substantially younger, but
Well, I'm very fucking sorry. Put my foot in it straight away. That was a good start. You could have prepped me on that, Lewis.
No, it's okay. I mean, look, she wasn't.
I know your father isn't with us, but I didn't know your mother wasn't with us either. So I feel like you set me up for that one. You said, let's talk about Mother's Day.
Yeah, well.
You said, I've got a funny story. I thought something happened yesterday with your mother that was funny. But
yeah, no, I got a couple jokes. Knock, knock. Who's there? Not my mother.
Of course.
I'll tell you that much.
All right.
No, listen. Yeah, my mom passed away when I was 22 years old, but I do have a son, and he does have a mother. And while me and his mom don't, always get along, we do try to keep it somewhat cordial. We're co-parenting. We do it very, cordially. We try to be friends. So me and my son spent the day yesterday, making her a nice card. We went and got some flowers. I let him pick out the flowers, and just kind of made it. It's more about teaching him to kind of create an experience for his mom, So him picking out the flowers, him actually designing the card himself. I helped him out. I drew a little fucking Wonder Woman and Batman on the card for him, and he colored it all in. But it was nice.
Sounds great. Sounds amazing. Sounds very endearing, Lewis. You sound like a model citizen, which I'm very surprised at. But yeah, that was good. Mother's Day in England wasn't yesterday. It's March 17th, I believe.
It's called
16th.
Mum's Day.
Mum's Day,
Mum's
exactly.
Day.
Yeah. So, but I gave my mum a call anyway yesterday, and I said Happy Mother's Day. Of course, my wife Rebecca. We have 3 children, so she is a mother. But it was also Lucas's birthday yesterday, so Mother's Day
Lucas
took a step aside, and we had we had a party for him. So that was a lot of fun.
Which is also what a good fucking mom does, by the way. It's incredible, like you say that, because look. It's very, a lot of women, younger women especially, they have almost like a me, younger people in general. I shouldn't just say women, but a lot of young chicks, I see this. It's very much me. Everything's about them. And a good mom will say, yeah, it's Mother's Day, but you know what? I got a fucking kid. It's his birthday. It's going to be about him today. And, she let him shine the light on himself, which is awesome.
Well, actually, to go one better, it's actually his birthday today, pardon me, but yesterday was the party. Obviously, it's weekend, so, kids are off school on a Sunday, so we did the party yesterday. So, again, you put the kid first, but I'd expect nothing less. That's your fucking child. Get over yourself. Stop going on about Mother's Day. Get a grip.
What did you do for your wife? Did you do anything?
Lewis, when she was around.
Hold on, wait. Did you do anything for your wife, though, for Mother's Day?
I bought some flowers from the gas station on the way home from work on Saturday, yes. Left them in the car. They dried out a little bit, but still, the thought was there. What do you want? Every day is Mother's Day in this house. Every day is the birthday. Every day is like she's won the lottery.
Yeah.
And
what does she even do?
You think I'm joking, but it's true. I was working on Tough Talk on Wednesday with Karen Bryant. And Karen Bryant, obviously, a very empowered woman and good for her. God bless her. She's like, what are you doing for Mother's Day? I'm like, not a lot. And then she gave me the sternest look, as if to say, what the hell? And I'm like, and I said the same thing. I said, every day is Mother's Day. We celebrate being with her every day. You don't need some fabricated, washed up, manufactured commercial holiday to be nice to my wife and the mother of my children. I really don't, Yeah, we bought her some flowers and that was that,
Yeah, that's really it. And you're right about that. You know, she's got a pretty goddamn good life. I've been to the Bisping household. It is it's nice. It's a lot of
Disneyland.
It's a lot of extra room. You don't really need as much space as you have there. I got to be honest with you.
No, you're absolutely right. We do want to downsize our house. I did call my mother yesterday. I gave her a quick call. I said, yeah, happy Mother's Day, Mum, even though you beat the piss out of me every day when I was a kid, I'll still call and say happy Mother's Day. You know, my mum, when we were younger, her go-to weapon of choice was the rolling pin. I don't know if you've ever been beaten with a solid wood rolling pin, Lewis. It's very, very
Let me explain to you why your mom was a better mom than my mom. Because your mother cooked enough to need a rolling pin. So my mother would beat me with things that she would use. So it was never a broom or a vacuum or anything, because she didn't do anything that was motherly, okay? My mother was a psychotic drug addict. So my mother would beat me with belts, which she would use to inject heroin into her arm, you know. She would beat me
Belt
with...
was the go-to favorite of my dad also. Yeah, go ahead.
Wire hangers, which she probably used to try to abort me when she was pregnant with me, that she still had lying around.
Understandably so.
Yeah, well, you know what? She had some foresight. She knew that what I was going to be eventually when I grew up. But
yeah, my mother was she contracted polio when she was a young kid. Very, very young. So she spent most of her time in a wheelchair when she was younger. She can walk now that she's older, not very well. But even still, all her life, she always had a terrible, terrible limp. Never walked very well at all. So when we were younger, she'd want to change the channel on the TV, and I'd cover up the thing where the remote picks it up, because she wouldn't get up because she couldn't walk. Do you know what I mean?
you took advantage of it.
But I'd cover up the sensor on the TV with my thumb. And she'd spaz out. She'd start off with the shoes, throwing the shoes at me, and then eventually we'd progress to the rolling pin. As I say, that is... You say that she was a good cook. Not really. My mother could burn water, God bless her. If you're listening, Mom, love you to bits. Love you to bits. But it got so bad, it got to the point where I hid the rolling pin, because I thought, I am sick of being beaten with this rolling pin. So I hid the rolling pin. And then one morning, typical madness morning, trying to get ready for school, she's looking for the rolling pin. She's searching for the rolling pin in the kitchen drawers, and she can't find it. And she's getting kind of stressed out. And I'm like, proud of myself, because I know I've hidden the rolling pin. And my younger sister, Shireen, hold on, Mum, I know where it is. And she runs off, and she comes into the kitchen and hands my mother the rolling pin. I'm like, you fucking bitch. How dare you do that? And then, of course, got a nice hiding. But I probably deserved it, because... I was a bit of a little shit, but if you're listening, love you, Mom. Happy Mother's Day.
Yeah, if my mom's listening, I think that's pretty goddamn amazing. She's listening from the other side. She's listening to podcasts.
Yeah. If she's in heaven and she's listening to a podcast, then, I suggest she's wasting her time.
Michael Bisping, you've never met my mother. She's definitely not in heaven.
Well, she could be listening to the Brendan Shaw podcast in hell. Yeah. So there you go.
Oh, shots fired. Michael Bisping pulls no punches.
I pulled no punches.
So yeah, dude, Mother's Day was yesterday. It's a cool day. I don't even give a shit though. For Father's Day is coming up. It's not even. Once again, it's very strange. It's not about me. I don't give a shit. My son's mother's going to a wedding on Father's Day. I'm not going like, oh really? It's about me. She called me up to apologize, because from her perspective, that would be like a big shot if I would go to a wedding on Mother's Day and not consider her. And I could give a shit less. I'm actually coming to L.A. for Father's Day. We're going to hang out, right?
When is Father's Day again? Remind me, because don't tell me it's on the time I'm coming to New York. I'm coming to New York probably the week of the 28th. When are you coming?
Of May?
Yeah.
Okay, no, this is June 19th is Father's Day.
Oh, okay, good.
17th.
Yeah, no, for sure we'll hang
17th.
out. I'll be here. I'm around. Come and see me. Step into my office.
I'm going to come out, and you're going to train me a little bit for this fight that I have coming up against Ryan O'Neal.
Talking of which, I did see you doing some training in... what appeared to be a tennis court.
No.
Or a basketball court.
No.
Basketball court?
Handball court.
A fucking All right, well, whatever.
You were going to say badminton? Really?
Basically, badminton.
You were going to say
What's
badminton?
Wrong with that?
Because there's no badminton courts in New York City.
I'm like, wow, I'm surprised. Lewis is frequenting the local badminton courts.
Here's what
with
happened.
his rackets and his shuttlecock.
Michael Harrington talks a lot of shit. And I was like, I'm training for this fight. I got to start sparring. I got to start just getting in there. So Harrington's like, oh, yeah, dude. He was like, oh, dude, I'll come out and spar with you. I'll fuck you up. And he's very confident. He talks a lot of shit, dude. A lot. So I'm going like, all right, fine. I'll do it. We'll fuck around a little bit. And he has no idea what he's doing. I don't really know what I'm doing either, but he's like a fucking child. Will you play some of the video, Shannon?
Can we play the video for these people? Because I'm scrolling Instagram, having my morning coffee like you do. And then, I see Lewis. Always up for a fight, Lewis. You're a very angry man, I feel. Here they are listen, that could be any kind of court. Basketball, badminton, tennis.
It's okay. No, it's not.
Ooh, big straight right by Nunes. Overhand right, I should say. Oh, man. That's huge body.
Did you see me fake the right and then throw the combo to the body?
Well, you know what? That was almost the combination that I knocked out Luke Rocco with.
I know. I emulated.
Right hook to the body, left hook over the top. It was. I noticed that Dave Smith is in the background commentating.
Yeah, he was. So look, and that was also, by the way, third round. I'm out of shape. I'm trying to get back into shape. Harrington, don't make a fucking face.
I wouldn't be proud that it got to the third round against Harrington. No offense, Harrington. You're a great producer.
It didn't get to the third round against Harrington. We alternated opponents. So Harrington came in fresh. I was getting new, fresh opponents. I was just alternating, baby.
Harrington, when I come to New York, I will have your revenge. I will put Lewis on the floor in the same fashion that he put you down. With a body shot, you'll get up the next day, Lewis. You'll be fine. But we got to do this. I can't wait. I'm very excited.
By the way, I really will spar with you. I really mean this. When you come to New York, we'll tape it. I want to see what I can do. And here's the thing. You have everything to lose, Michael Bisping.
No, I know. Listen, the pressure is on me. Let's be honest. If you just had one shred of success, it would be good for you. But the thing is, you're not going to have a shred of success, so it doesn't matter.
Dude, if I land one jab.
People watching this, listening to this, will go, God, this Bisping's such a fucking pussy. He's getting called out by fighters left, right, and center. Machida calls him out. He's been radio silent throughout everything, but he's talking about flying up to New York to beat up a comedian. Fuck you all, motherfuckers. I got my next opponent, Luis J. Gomez. What's up?
It's going to happen to New York City, May 28th, 2018. Michael Bisping returns.
Yeah. Certainly a fall from grace. It was Madison Square Garden last time I was there. This time it will be
a handball court in the East Village.
Court.
You know what's funny? Because I ended up, I am actually getting into training. I took my first jiu-jitsu class yesterday as well. And I will tell this is what I got to say to people that, because we do talk about fitness on the show a lot. Dude, go to jiu-jitsu. It was crazy. It's pretty. What happens is you're firing off muscle fibers that you've never even thought about using before. There's even just with a little bit of sparring, a little bit of fucking around, in that one class that I took, every muscle in my body, muscles that I didn't think I had, my hips are my hips are so fucking sore, and they never get sore. Even if I lift and do the fucking weird thing where you spread your legs in the gym, and that does shit for me.
You mean you mean the women's exercises?
Yeah,
you go on those machines.
Where you spread your legs in the gym,
specifically designed for women, those machines, Lewis.
No.
There is machines that I use in the gym, the squat rack, the leg press, all that type of stuff. The ones where
hip
you do
abductor.
That's for the old ladies or the young slags.
Young slags.
Or women in general. Women in general. I'm joking.
Happy Mother's Day. Happy Mother's Day. The young slags out there.
Maximum respect for the other opposite sex. Unless Luis J. Gomez looking at you in the eye as he slowly spreads his legs.
Well, all I'm saying, though, is that it was a pretty goddamn intense workout. And I really liked it. And I really liked it as well.
Yeah, no, jiu-jitsu is a lot of fun, and you actually do learn. It stimulates the body, obviously, and the mind as well. So, yeah, jiu-jitsu is a lot of fun. Talking of which, actually, I was offered last week to compete in a grappling competition, paid grappling. Not a bad offer. I wouldn't say lucrative. For some people, lucrative. Pretty decent amount of money to compete in a professional grappling match. Live on Fight Pass, so I'm deliberating.
So it's through UFC.
Well, it's gonna air on UFC Fight Pass. It's not UFC. So it's another somebody at the UFC reached out to me. Yes.
It's like associated in some way or another with the UFC because they're going to be broadcasting it through their platform.
Yeah,
that'd be kind of
exactly.
fun.
So yeah. Well, it gives me something to train for. I mean, so I don't know.
Who is it against?
We'll see. I'm up in the air because obviously grappling isn't my first thing. And I'm going to go up against a world-class grappler, which will be fun. Test myself, all that good stuff.
Who's the person?
Anyway, moving on. Let's go. Let's not talk about that too much. All right, let's take a quick second to hear from another regular sponsor of ours, Infinite CBD. Thank you very much for sponsoring the show. What is Infinite CBD? Well, CBD is found in marijuana, but it doesn't get you high. It is 100% legal, and it will not show up in a drug test. And it helps keep your body's endocannabinoid system balanced. That's a very big word, endocannabinoid. I don't know what it means, but I know what it does for you. It will help with arthritis, chronic pain, inflammation, Lyme disease, addiction, insomnia, diabetes, high blood pressure, PTSD, and many, many others, Lewis.
Yeah, listen, it's not just like it's just one thing. It's not like, oh my God, I got to smoke this thing, or I've got to inject this liquid, or I got to, put a pill up my butt. No. They have a lot of different, different ways that you can enjoy CBD. Oh my God.
I've been sticking pills up my butt ever since I fucking worked with CBD.
You didn't know you could do that. You could boof the CBD pills. You didn't know that, did you? That's the best way to get it in your body.
I'm like, can we get some bigger pills I can stick up my butt, please?
No, listen, they have everything.
Small.
They got capsules. They got vape juice, gummies, isolate droppers. I'm going to tell you right now, dude, I just got the capsules in the mail, which are great. I was using topical ointment for a little while, but I'm actually just enjoying the capsules because they're nice and easy to take. I just take them in the morning. I'm going to tell you right now, here's the best part of all of it is they're going to give our listeners a discount. Go to infinitecbd.com. That's INFINITE CBD.com. Pick up whatever you want. Any CBD product that you guys want, the best one that you guys want. Try them all. Why not, right? And if you use the promo code BELIEVE, BELIEVE, the promo code BELIEVE, you're going to get 15% off any purchase. 15% off. It's a huge deal.
It is a huge deal, and I do strongly recommend these products. As I said, I've been using them. The Freezing Point, I use it on my knee, and I absolutely love it. It's fantastic. I just ran 4 miles this morning, and I made sure to apply that very generously prior to doing so. As Lewis said, infinitecbd.com, 15% off if you use the promo code BELIEVE.
All right, let's get back into the show.
UFC 224 at the weekend, stacked card, very, very good fights, almost all finishes. As I said, I was doing a kind of an audition for commentary at the weekend, so I sat and commentated the whole fights. So I watched it very closely, saw all of them.
Did you feel comfortable doing it?
Fights. Say again?
Did you feel comfortable?
Yeah, it was great. Yeah, of course. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, I've done TV work for the UFC for years now. So that type of stuff, yes, commentary is a little different, but it's not a million miles away from being an analyst, really. Talking about what you see and actually makes it easier. Right from start to finish.
I would assume it's almost easier because you get to kind of pick your moments, right? You have to take a moment you're watching. You could almost take it in, process it, and then kind of call it. Whereas when you're doing a podcast where it's like you tell a story on here, it's just free thought. We don't really do many edits.
Yeah.
I'd say we edit one little thing maybe every 10 or 20 episodes. Like we edit some dumb thing, right? But for the most part, This is just free thought, and we just kind of, go off the rails with it. I almost feel like doing something like commentary would be substantially easier, no?
Well, it is. I mean, of course, like anything, you've got to do the research. You've got to know who the people are. You've got to know the background. You've got to know the training, all that type of stuff. But for the most part, you're calling what you see and you're commenting on what you see. Anyway, getting to the fights. I mean, first of all, on the Fight Pass prelims, did you see Sean Strickland get wheel kicked to death in the second round, I believe? That was outstanding. It was almost all finishes. Nearly every fight. I think only one fight, Kelvin Gastelum versus Jacare, went to a decision. Let's start with that fight. Kelvin Gastelum versus Jacare. That was an incredible fight. That was a lot of fun.
Really fun fight. Super close fight. It was a split decision for your boy Kelvin Gastelum, which I know you love. Dude, Jacare has been like the dude for a little while. A lot of people were kind of looking at him as the dark horse of the division, and it seems like Kelvin, in a weird way, this is how he reminds me of you. It seems like he just fucking bites down his mouthpiece and just fucking works and wills himself into fucking victory again and again and again. And it's like, that seems to be the difference when he seems to be evenly matched up with somebody, and it could be whoever. It just seems like he wants it a little bit more than the next guy.
Well, it's weird because if you look at his early career, he got beat off some questionable people, that really he shouldn't be getting beat off. I'll tell you this, and I'll be honest, I don't care. People know me, I'm honest, whatever. I like to laugh at myself. I have never cheered for somebody as much in my life. I'm thinking, please do not get fucking knocked out in the first round. You're going to make me look like an asshole. For the love of God, Kelvin, please go out there and fight well. And in the first round, after like a minute, I think, he was on the floor, he was mounted. He had his back taken, nearly an armbar sunk in. I thought, holy shit, here we go. It's going to make me look bad. Everyone's going to say, oh, yeah, Kelvin just got wiped out and he knocked you out, motherfucker, blah, 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 blah. But that didn't happen. He made it out the first round. And I said this when I was doing the commentary. I said, here we go. Now, I think we're going to see a different Kelvin come out in the second round because he's just been to the danger zone, if you will, and survive the full round. The big dangerous weapon that Jacare has is that he gets you down on the floor and he'll submit you. Well, now he knows he can defend those submissions. He's been in the worst position possible against him for 5 minutes. That's going to be a little mentally freeing. He knows he can escape those situations. And we did see a different Kelvin come out in the second round. He came out, started throwing beautiful combinations, landed a lovely 1-2, put Jacare down. I thought that was going to be it. I thought that was the end of the fight. Jacare, though, very, very tough, managed to survive. And then after that, it was kind of a back and forth. Kelvin landed the better shots. Kelvin did the most damage. At the end of the fight, Kelvin didn't have a mark on him, and Jacare looked in pretty bad shape. And I got to say, Kelvin's got a hell of a chin, man, because Jacare did land some very, very big shots, and Kelvin just walked right through them, ate every single shot, and just walked Jacare down and outworked him. Now, I think there is something to that in terms of cutting weight, because obviously Kelvin is, probably more suited to being, well, I say that, I'm about to contradict that, probably more suited to being a welterweight, but he's not doing the drastic weight cuts that people like myself, Jacare, Luke Rockhold, that everybody does in MMA. Most UFC fighters do a huge weight cut, but that does take away from your performance, takes away from your ability to take a shot. Definitely. You lose your strength, and of course there's lots of other issues. And the way that he took those shots, okay, obviously naturally he's got a very good chin anyway, but he hasn't had to dehydrate himself by 20 pounds the day before, and I truly believe that helped him in the fight.
Yeah, he doesn't have your typical sucked. I was actually arguing with my buddy about this, about MMA, like the physique of an MMA fighter, because I'm going I like the fact that I'm getting into training a little bit, because I think no matter what, even if I get my fucking ass kicked in this dumb fight, a byproduct of it is going to be I'm going to be in great shape. I know I'm going to get in the best shape of my life. And he was just arguing that there's other sports that get you in sort of better shape, but Kelvin Gastelum was the picture of a dude that he pulled up where he was like, look, this is a fucking MMA fighter's body. And I'm like, all right, well, you're pulling up a dude who doesn't look, aesthetically the same way that some of these other guys look. But that's also because he doesn't cut weight. He's not sucking down. He's a little bit thicker and healthier. How much does that take out of you? In a realistic, scenario, when you are cutting weight for a fight, if you didn't have to cut weight at all, right? How much power do you think you lose if you could sort of measure it, right? When you have to cut down to 185?
I couldn't put it into a percentage, or a true stat like you're asking, but I do know this. When I start a fight, there we go. I'm a little out of center frame. When I start a fight camp, pardon me. When I start a fight camp, I feel super strong. Okay, the conditioning isn't what it is at the end of camp, but I feel good. I feel strong. And then by the end of the camp, I'm kind of getting, I'm still doing well. I'm still winning all my rounds, but I feel that my partners are stronger than me. That's because I've probably shed 20 pounds in weight. They haven't. My training partners aren't training for a fight. They're just doing their normal business, turning up to beat the crap out of me 2-3 times a week. Whereas I'm getting lighter and lighter and lighter. And the lighter you get, of course, you do lose some strength. You lose fat, but you do lose muscle. You use general mass, And if you have less mass, then you will generally be weaker. And that does have an effect in the fight. Of course, then you dehydrate yourself massively the day before the fight, and then you will be more susceptible to getting knocked out, I believe, because of that. So I do think that is advantageous for Kelvin. I'd love to see the whole weight cutting phenomenon just ditched. I wish everyone would fight up a weight class. Just move up a weight class. and then everybody would be almost on a fair playing field. The 185ers fight light heavyweight, bring in a new weight class, bring in a cruiserweight, maybe 220 or whatever for the light heavyweights, and then you have the heavyweights after that. 155s move up to 170, 45s to 55, so on and so forth. You get what I'm saying? I don't need to carry on. I sound like I'm doing a fucking Bet DSI ad.
I think you're right.
10 pounds, it'll become 30 pounds. But you see what I'm saying?
I think you're right about that. But I think there's also, I think there's something about that it's like a variable in fighting that has nothing to do with fighting. It's almost like they go, cool. Well, there's other people that they get really good at weight cutting, or they have the body type that retains a lot of water. They can cut weight a little bit easier. And there's this other kind of factor that's this weird distraction that has nothing to do with the skill sets of these two fighters. And if all things are even and everything is considered, and you have an actual, weight limit where I guess the answer, they started doing this with college wrestling. The answer would be to weigh in the guys right before the fight, correct?
Yeah, absolutely, it would be. I was just going to say something. That totally slipped my mind. I mean, the problem is, they do that in wrestling, by the way. Callum has to weigh in before on the next day, and they check his weight. But yeah, I do believe that is something that we will see less and less of as MMA grows. I think more and more athletic commissions now are bringing in tougher, stricter codes, rules, whatever the word is, for the weight cuts. You've got to be in with a certain percentage when you arrive at the host hotel on the Tuesday. I believe you've got to be within 8%, or you can't be more than 8% over your natural, your
yeah, that's how it is in California now, right?
Yeah. If it's 185, you're only allowed to be 8% over. So anyway, we're going into something different now. But Kelvin did well. One thing I have got a bone to pick with Kelvin, motherfucker. I saw him on an embedded, and he said, Bisping said, yeah, you think on a full fight camp you'd really beat me? And he's like, I did just beat you on a full fight camp. But I'm like, no, Kelvin, you're missing the point, motherfucker. I just did a 10-week camp for George St. Pierre. I then got choked out unconscious against George St. Pierre. Took a lot of shots. Then I got drunk for 10 days and flew out to fucking China, right, and continued to diet straight again, and I was super skinny, and I'd just been finished. You didn't get 100% Bisping, and I think everybody knows that.
I think, what's the percentage right now? What's the percentage Bisping that he got? Can I say?
Yeah.
I think a 13% Bisping.
Why do you say 13?
You're just not you. Because I think, I'll tell you why. Because I think 14% Bisping beats Kelvin Gastelum.
I appreciate it. 14. When I'm 14%, I do feel good.
You're a monster. 14%.
13's a whole different animal.
Basically a woman. Basically a woman at 13%.
13%. 13's an unlucky number, Lewis. How are you going to beat anybody when you're 13%? Let alone Kelvin fucking Gastelum.
Seriously.
Anyway, moving on.
If you do the math there, just like a Bet DSI ad, if you do the math there with promo code Bisping, he actually won that fight.
Yeah, exactly. If you break it down the right way and look at it from my perspective, and you add on the percentage that was missing, you detract that from the knockout result in another parallel universe, I won that fight.
You're the fucking heavyweight champion.
Get over yourself, Kelvin. What the fuck's going on?
Kelvin went to sleep in 3 seconds. It was a record-setting knockout. Flying knee, you knocked his head clean off his shoulders.
I was at an 87% deficit. Do you realize how much better that would make me? Anyway. Enough of the madness. So we'll call Jason Parillo in a minute because we'll get into the main event. Amanda Nunes taking on Raquel Pennington at the weekend. Nunes looked absolutely incredible. She really did. Amanda Nunes has always been incredibly violent, always been incredibly tough. A woman that is very, very hard to deal with. And even in the fights that she lost early on in her career, she would start the fight by absolutely dismantling her opponents. When she fought Kat Zingano, Jesus Christ, she beat the hell out of Kat Zingano, but Kat Zingano was tough. She fought through the adversity, weathered the storm, whatever you want to call it. And then Nunes slowed down. She got tired, and Zingano got the finish. But Nunes has fixed those problems, those conditioning problems, if you will. And at the weekend, she went out there against Raquel Pennington. I thought she'd get a finish early, but she didn't. Raquel is super, super tough. Raquel Pennington did better than what I thought she would. She was in the fight. She took a lot of monstrous leg kicks right from the opening bell. It was a tough fight. It was a very, very tough fight for Raquel Pennington, pardon me, got a text there, slightly distracted. Now, what happened was she was getting beaten systematically, Raquel Pennington. As I say, she was doing well. God bless her. Good effort. Showed a lot of courage. She really did. She had to dig deep a few times. And she definitely kept Amanda Nunes honest. She definitely threw back at times. She countered. She connected with some good shots. She made the fight interesting. It certainly wasn't one-way traffic, but Amanda Nunes clearly won every single round. And in round 4, she kind of started using the tie clinch well. She got Amanda Nunes in a beautiful tie clinch, Raquel in a beautiful tie clinch, landed some really good, solid, flush knees to the face, probably broke Raquel's face, caused a huge swelling to her eye. She was a mess. She really was. And at the end of round 4, she went back to her corner and she said, I'm done. Yeah. I'm done. That's it. I'm done. And when a fighter says, I'm done, they're done. They're over. Now, the cornerman then begged, pleaded, no, come on, Raquel, dig deep. Just basically begged her not to give up.
Do we have video of this?
Yeah. Play the tape. Play the tape, Harrington.
And still, the undisputed UFC featherweight champion of the world, Amanda, the Lioness Nunes.
Just told the coach she's done.
I know. You see everything she's done. You see it all. You see everything.
Come on, girl. I know it hurts. I know it hurts.
I know it hurts. Let's power through this, he says to her. She says, I'm done. Let's power through this. Let's believe, all right?
Change your mindset. Change your mindset. Let's just throw everything we got. Throw everything we got. All right, we'll recover later. We'll recover later. Throw everything we got.
A few minutes later.
That's it. So then she comes out in the 5th round and gets...
Well, just press play there. Play that bit so everybody that's watching this can see what happened to her a few minutes later.
Yeah, and for the people that are watching this on YouTube, you can get it uncensored on gasdigitalnetwork.com.
Tell.
Yeah, her face is absolutely drenched. This fight is over.
Might stop. And Raquel Pennington with pints of blood coming out of her nose.
It's annoying for anybody that watches this on YouTube. So here's what happens. So she goes out. She says, I'm done. Her cornerman begs her, pleads with her not to give up. Okay? Fighters need protecting from themselves. We are fighters. We will fight until the bitter end, until we know it's the end, you know. And Raquel Pennington is as tough as hell. She really is. And I've got so much respect for her after that fight, because I thought she'd get taken out there pretty easily, but she did incredible. And as I say, she kept Amanda Nunes honest. She landed some good shots. But she also recognized at the end of round 4, after being systematically beaten down, after taking so many knees to the face, I'm done. I haven't got any more. Now, of course, they've always got a bit more, but it's like she knew, I'm not going to win this fight. Now, for a cornerman to send her back out there, all you're doing is extending the beating, making her take more damage. There's no way Raquel was going to go out there and finish her in the 5th round. Even if she won the 5th round, she wasn't going to win a decision. She'd lost every single round. The odds of her going out there and finish her in the 5th round, you know, were ridiculously high. It just wasn't going to happen. So the cornerman, in my opinion, and if I'm wrong, I apologize, but in my opinion, that cornerman was thinking of himself. He wants to corner a fighter or train a fighter that becomes the bantamweight UFC middleweight champion of the world. And he's doing it for his own glory. He's not thinking of the well-being of his fighter. If you look at boxing, for crying out loud, boxing, they would have stopped that fight a long time ago because it was too one-sided. But here we have, in round 4, the fighter saying, I'm done. When the fucking fighter personally says, I'm done, well, then that's it.
They verbally tapped out in between rounds to the corner, whose specific job it is to look out for them and protect them. So it's just another... It's a weird thing, because if she would have said that to an official, the ref, a doctor, done, fight's over, and that's not even their job to protect the fighter. It's their, or I guess it is their job to protect the fighter, but that's not. You would think on a very personal level that the corner would be looking out for her. Is there any part of you that can see any side of it from her coach's perspective, meaning that maybe he has a relationship with her? And by the way, her and Tisha Torres, which is her fiance, did come out and defend her coach and supported his decision. I'll read that quote in a moment. But is there any part of you that goes, maybe, all right, well, what if her coach knows something that we don't, sees something in her, and knows sort of how to pull something out of her that maybe to the blind person out here goes like, all right, he knows it.
So listen, You know, you could argue that. And Misha Tate, I was driving home on Saturday night, and Misha Tate was on Sirius XM. They were talking about this, and Misha Tate was defending the cornerman and saying just that, saying, listen, they obviously have a relationship and this and that. Listen, a fighter will say that. And afterwards, a fighter will say, thank you for making me go out there for that 5th round. Thank you, because she went out there and she died on a shield. She fought on a shield, whatever the expression is. But at the end of the day, a fighter needs protecting from themselves. If they say they're done, they're fucking done. Throw the towel in, right? Do the right thing. Enable her to fight another day. She was never going to win that fight. And at some point, you know, fighters aren't the smartest people in the world, because we think on heart and instinct and desire. We want to fight. That's what we do. That's what is built in our DNA, to fucking fight. So we will try and do that. The cornermen, one of their jobs, train the fighter, yes, get them there, look after them, give them advice, but also know when to throw the towel in. And that's a very, very hard thing to do. And realistically, that cornerman fucked up. Now we're going to call a cornerman that has done just this. Jason Parillo, let's get him on the phone. He cornered BJ Penn against George St. Pierre, and he threw the towel in himself without BJ even saying that. So should we give him a call and let's see what he's got to say?
I didn't know that it was Jason who actually threw in the towel. That's really interesting. We'll get him on now.
Yeah, no, it was.
Mike, we're going to have to hang up with you for a moment while we get you and Parillo both back on. So we'll call you right back, right, Mike, with Jason Parillo as well. In the meantime, I'll take the moment to plug the network. You guys, if you're listening to this show on iTunes, we do have the latest 15 episodes, I believe, available on iTunes starting this week. And the latest video version of the show on YouTube. You should know that we have every episode of the show that we've ever done. Every episode of the Believe You Me podcast is available at gasdigitalnetwork.com. You guys can get every video version of the show. You guys can get access to all the behind-the-scenes stuff, any bonus content that we're going to start putting up very soon. Also, a live chat. You get a pre-release that comes out a day before it comes out on iTunes or YouTube. It comes out on Gas Digital. What else, Shannon? Anything else?
I think you got it.
Yeah, that's it. The live chat, the message board, all that good stuff, guys. And you get to support the show. You save $1.50 a month if you use the promo code BYM. So it's just $7 a month. You also get a 14-day free trial. And we also have 15 other podcasts on the network, including Legion of Skanks, The Josta Show with Jamie Josta, the frontman of Hatebreed, The Lisa Ann Experience with adult entertainer Lisa Ann, The Roast Masters Real Ass Podcast, and many, many more. Michael Bisping, we're going to bring in Parillo right now. In the meantime, let me read you this quote from Nunes, because she was pretty critical of Raquel Pennington's corner as well. She said, I think she needs to surround herself with people who want the best for her so she can evolve in her next fights. Unfortunately, tonight he failed. It's sad. If she didn't have the right conditioning to fight, then the coach should have thrown in the towel for sure. I think my coach wouldn't let me go through that. So, yeah, very, very critical. And I think she's right. I think overall, we'll get Jason Parillo's take on this as well. But afterwards, Raquel, this is from Pennington's. I'm sorry, this is from Tisha Torres' Instagram. This is the response. They defended her coach, and they said, both of us and our coaches agree with the decision made to go into the 5th round. We knew Raquel more than anyone else and know if we let her give up on herself going into the last round, she would have always regretted it. She fought with heart and grit until the end. So there's something, I don't know, I'm not a fighter, I'm not a coach, but there's something a little bit to that where,
Yeah, well, do we have Jason?
I'm here.
Oh, there he is.
Hey, what's up, Jay? How you doing, buddy?
What's up, guys? How's it going?
Yeah, good. I'm going to come down the gym tomorrow, believe it or not, so brace yourself.
Oh, how exciting.
Yeah.
Jason, did you hear that quote from Tisha Torres, who's Raquel Pennington's wife and teammate? They basically defended the coach, saying, if she would have given up going into that 5th round, she would have never forgiven herself for it. We know her better than anybody else. What is your take on this whole thing?
You're asking me.
Yeah.
You asking me, Louis?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
I'm assuming you guys have been talking about this for a little bit.
Yeah, a few minutes.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard. I mean, I unfortunately I didn't watch. I watched the fight live, but I was at a party, so I wasn't really paying that much of attention. But this morning, I'm hearing all this stuff about it. I mean, that's a tough call. I've been in that situation before. And for me, the coach just really has to know their fighter, in and out. They got to know their limitations. They got to know what, if they have the ability to go out and actually do something that round, and I, we don't know how she reacts in the gym in the 5th round. In the gym, her 5th round might be her best round. We don't know. I don't know. Only her coaches know her, so I'm guessing that was a judgment call on them, and if they felt that she had more in the tank and there's something that she could go out there and give, maybe they felt she did, and maybe she showed that to them before in the past, maybe in other fights or maybe just in the gym alone. I don't know. So and that's always tough. I'm not a big fan of knocking people, when they're down in these situations, because their corner or nobody wanted her to go out there and get her ass kicked, especially in that 5th round. But again, I don't know her limitations. Looking at her record, I don't know a whole lot about Raquel, but looking at she's not she doesn't appear to be a high level fighter. I know she's fighting for a world title, but with a record like 9-6. In looking at some of her competition, it doesn't look like she's, been out there and beaten world beaters before. So, it's a hard deal. It's a hard thing to look at and criticize as well.
It is, Jason. You're absolutely right not to be an arsehole and criticize the coach too much. But she'd lost all 4 rounds. Definitely, decisively. The 4th round was particularly bad. She ate some good knees to the face. Don't get me wrong, she was still in the fight. She was keeping Nunes honest, but still, she lost those fights. And at the end of the 4th round, I mean, what do? Your fighter comes back and she says, "I'm done." She actually says, "I'm done. I'm over. Listen, I'm done. I'm done." In that situation, the fighter's asking the coach to throw the fucking towel in. Because they don't want the embarrassment of verbally submitting and saying to the referee, "Hey, I'm done," and then all she's going to get is, it's a little embarrassing. They're asking the coach to do the hard part for her. Do you not agree?
Of course. No, of course. And that's what, and I go back to knowing the athlete. I don't know how well they know. Does she act like that in the gym? She come back and not want to go out for the 4th round in the gym? Does she come back? I don't know. Again, and that's looking, I got obviously too into it. But for me, I have been in that situation in a very high-level fight, in a world title fight. I've been in that situation in the 4th round, going in the 5th round. And me and my fighter didn't have that conversation, and we didn't need to have that conversation. For me, I was looking to save as much damage as we can. Think about going out and fighting another day. And I made the decision of stopping the fight. So I've stopped it too, and I've gotten shit for stopping it. You know what I mean? So it could go both ways. I knew that you could tell that girl was not going to, you got to also have eyes for the fact that that your fighter's not going to come back in the situation they're at. And, you could save a little bit of damage that way. But, again, try not to criticize, but give as honest an opinion about it as I can.
So you're talking about BJ Penn versus GSP. You cornered BJ Penn and had to throw in the towel for that fight, correct?
I didn't say that. You said it.
All right, sorry. No,
no.
I don't know. I don't even know I almost feel I want to talk about that if you're comfortable talking about it. What's kind of going through your mind in that moment and why you made that decision, because it's a really hard thing to do. And also, have there ever been other times where you've been close to doing that, where you've kind of been looking down? The only thing we know as fight fans from throwing in the towel is the scene in fucking Rocky IV where, Rocky freezes up and Duke is going, "Throw in the damn towel," and Rocky doesn't do it, and then he dies, and you're like, "Oh my God, what a crazy thing." So that's our only perspective on this. But just talk to me a little bit about that.
Finish it off there. Wait, say what's my?
Well, no, talk to me just a little bit about, coming to that decision, and then other times maybe that you've had to kind of look at that and go when you make that decision and what you're kind of looking for in that moment.
Well, again, that goes back to knowing the guy. I know my fighter. I know how they. That's why I'm there for all the sparring. I mean, you got to know. That's the real deal when they're in a fight. Their temperament and their mindset, and whether they got more in the tank or not. When that situation was in front of me, and I made the decision to stop the fight. I was going on that, caring about my fighter one, and knowing that there was nothing left to give. At that point, he was fighting on heart and heart alone. and there was exhaustion there, and there was there wasn't any miracles going to happen in that situation, so, you're looking out for their best interest and their health, and especially if they plan on fighting it again in the future, that extra damage plays a toll on you, and you can go out and actually even get knocked out cold, and getting knocked out cold does some funny things to your subconscious, unless, you're a gritty, strong-minded motherfucker. Some people don't come back from that. We don't have a whole lot of Michael Bispings out there that come back from stuff like that. What I mean? But
it's funny you say that, Jay, because I don't know why. For some reason, last night I sat down and I was watching. First time I watched it in a long time. My fight against Anderson Silva. Callum, my son, mentioned it, so I put it on Fight Pass. I was sitting there watching it with Rebecca, and at the end of that fourth round, I looked like fucking dog shit. But I knew I was still in the fight, and I never said once, "Hey, I'm done." The fight that Raquel, and again, I'm not knocking her, maximum respect. As I say, she kept Nunes honest, but she lost every round. She lost it significantly. She said she's fucking done. She said, "I'm done. I'm mentally done." For the cornerman to say, "No, go back out there." I don't know. I don't think they're thinking of the fight itself, because as you say, there's no way she's going to go out there and knock her out inside the fifth round. And about 2 minutes later, the fight was called off. She's face down in a pile of blood on the floor. And, the fighter now, Raquel and the team, they're defending the coach. Of course they will. They will. They'll say, "Thank you for letting me go out there. Thank you for letting me die on my sword." But that's the easy part. The hard thing of a coach is to do what you did and say, "No, this is going to be unpopular with the fighter." The fighter doesn't want you to throw the towel in. In this situation, Raquel did. But then afterwards, she will say thank you because that he didn't do that. Do you understand what I'm trying to say?
No, I do. When I stopped that fight, I got a couple thank you phone calls, At the end of the day, in that answer, you were winning that fight. You were winning every round of that fight, and I know you, Michael, and I know the type of spirit you have, and the condition you have, and all that, and there's a mental toughness there, and I knew that you can come around and still continue to win that fight the way you've been dominating it, leading up to that point. In BJ's situation, I knew also as well that we weren't going to turn around this situation. And the corner does have to. I mean, if you come back, if a fighter comes back to me and says, "Hey, I'm done," and knowing them as well as as well as I should, being in that situation, I've been in situations before with fighters that I didn't know as well as I should have, and maybe could have stopped fights as well, but. Regardless, you gotta, if you want them to trust you, you gotta, listen to them as well, and you gotta help them do what they want to do, and sometimes that's quit, and it's a lot easier for a coach to throw in the towel than a fighter. If she just quit there on her stool, do I think she would have got a lot of backlash? Maybe, maybe not. Everybody knows she was getting her ass kicked, and if she just quit herself, she could have done that. I don't know how much shit she would have got for it, but, if you're asking me to stop the fight, and I know you well enough, and you're being straight with me because you're not going to bullshit me because I ain't going to bullshit with you, you got to stop it.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I fully agree. But all right. Thanks for that. We won't continue going around in circles. Rafael Dos Anjos, Colby Covington coming up soon, interim title fight. What's going on with Rafael? How's he looking?
He's looking great. He's well ahead. He's been able to have. A little R&R over the last couple of weeks. We've been working extremely hard, don't get me wrong, but, he's already in shape. He's ready to go, and, we're just going to keep it going for the next couple of weeks and go out to Chicago, and I got a lot of confidence in the RD8, winning that interim title.
Anything, Lewis? You're sitting there. I can see a weird look on your face.
Well, no. I had another question in mind. Regardless, but no, we can switch topics. What were you going to say?
Lewis wasn't done with the Pennington. Ask it. Go ask it.
No.
What is it?
No. I just thought. I was just kind of like. I almost like. This might almost be too personal, but I almost kind of wanted to know.
Ask the fucking question, Jesus Christ!
Was BJ Penn pissed off with you?
What's that?
Was BJ Penn pissed off that you threw in the towel? Like, did you have to was he like, dude, what the fuck?
No. He didn't say anything. And like I said, he later actually, thanked me for it because, he knew, and I mean, she knew. Like, when you know, you know. A lot of times you go in a fight, the fighter's saying they're done. This guy doesn't. This guy's got too much heart to say I'm done. I'm not saying Pennington doesn't have heart. But saying I'm done, you're done. And BJ by no part he trusts me, and that's why he continued to have me, I think, in his corners when I didn't even train him. You know what I mean? There's a reason why I don't see the guy for a couple of years, and I go work his corner against Frank Yeager. He calls me up the week of the fight when we haven't talked in months. To work the corner, because he knows that it's he knows he can trust me in that situation. And that's something you can't lose with your fighter. And hopefully this guy didn't lose out with his fighter. I don't know what kind of future she has, but you don't want to lose that trust. So, and he trusted me, and going back when he watched it, he knew he was in a situation where it needed to be stopped. I was waiting, to be honest, for the doctor to do it or the referee. I'm looking at Herb Dean talking to the doctor, and I just sat there waiting. There was probably a good 20 seconds. I was listening to them have a conversation, and I saw Herb Dean walk out to the middle of the cage and say, bring him out to the middle of the cage for the fifth and final round. I went, hey, Herb, I don't think so, bud. And I had to stop it. I was hoping that they would do it. Because it is a very tough situation. And to be fair to this guy in the corner, we're working with seconds tonight. You're working with a minute. You know what I mean? And there's not a whole lot of time. There's a lot of thoughts going through your head, and it's a tough call.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And you hit the nail on the head there, Jay, when you say it's trust. It's all about trust, Lewis. You've got to know that your cornerman, your head coach, the guy in your corner, that you can trust this guy on multiple levels. Trust what he's showing you in the gym. Trust that he's going to have you back in the corner. Trust that he can be man enough to do that. Because that's not an easy thing to do. I'm sure, Jason, that decision wasn't fucking easy. As you said, you were waiting for the referee to do it, waiting for the doctor to do it. But in the end, you had to do it for BJ's sake. And as you said, BJ, being the real man that he is, and just like you two have a great relationship, upon reflection, he can sit back and think, yeah, you did the right thing. You did it for me, because that isn't easy to do. That comes from the heart. If you're selfish and you don't give a fuck, then you're going to let the person go out there for the fifth round. So what? He might get the job done. Who cares? But realistically, when you're looking at it, and the fighter isn't going to win, he's lost every single round. I mean, do you know how hard that was for Pennington, Lewis, to stand there to, get beaten for 4 rounds, and Nunes still looked fresh. She didn't look fatigued. She didn't look like she was slowing down. Standing there, and she's beat the fuck out of her, and Pennington says, I'm done, when the coach says, no, go back out there. It's like, fuck me. You imagine the demons inside her head. You know what I mean, Jason? She's going to go out there and fight this woman again when she's mentally switched off and said, I'm done, but everyone is forcing her back out there. It's a shitty situation.
Oh, it's super shitty. And in a catch-22 situation, she goes out and fucking throws a miracle punch, cleans Amanda's fucking clock. That corner's a bunch of fucking heroes. You know what I mean? But as we all could see with our own eyes, and if you've been around long enough, you could tell that she was obviously losing, pretty much every minute of every round of that fight. But yeah, it is what it is. Obviously, we all saw the fight the way it was going, and she was definitely losing. And she did. And from her past experience, her past record, by looking at her record, she's never really stopped anybody before anyways. I think she might have had 1 TKO and, a couple submissions. But really, and that's when it goes back to knowing your fighter's limitations. If they don't have that crack, they don't have that ability to go out and finish the fight, that makes it a whole other choice as well.
No, of course it is.
So... it is what it is. I mean,
it is.
This gives us something to talk about, I guess. Everybody looks for the negativity for that Monday morning, that we could talk about whatever happened Saturday night.
Yeah, no, you're right, Jay. You're right. And this is a big talking point. Everyone's talking about it, so we thought we'd weigh in and get your perspective, being a cornerman and also being someone that's been in that situation, So, all right, dude. Well, listen, thanks for your time. I'll be down there in the morning, Jay. I know I said that last week, but tomorrow I will be there. And, we'll catch up with you then in person. Thanks for calling in, Jay. Appreciate it, bud.
Right on, guys. All right. Take it easy. See you, Lewis.
Jason, you're the man. Appreciate it, man.
You're the man, too. Hey, Legion of Skanks, buddy. Legion of
Skanks. Hell yeah.
Hey. Jay, you still there, right? You still there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Hey, listen, we got to go up to New York at some time, and we're going to go on the Legion of Skanks. You would love it, Jay. It's fucking hilarious.
Yeah, I'd feel right at home, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, no, absolutely. We do it in a pub, in the basement, a few beers, you know.
Perillo will never fucking leave, dude.
Yeah.
He will come to Legion of Skanks, and he will move into the Creek and Cave, and he will fucking turn into the fourth member. I'm telling you right now. He'll be right at home.
Oh, I can't wait,
Jay.
man. Let's make it sooner than later.
All right, hell yeah, dude.
Take care, man. Thanks, Jay.
Jason Parillo, always a delight. Michael Bisping's boxing coach, mentor in a lot of ways, and all around a fucking delight. Love that guy. Love that guy.
No, he is one of, the best people I know. He really is.
Yeah.
He's just a fantastic man. He's real as fuck. No bullshit. Very, very smart. Very motivational. A lot of integrity and very very smart man as well.
Let's talk about one of our incredible sponsors, which is BetDSI. Love BetDSI. Been in business for over 20 years. They're top rated on most of the sports betting review sites. They got an easy to use interface. It's super easy to use. Michael Bisping, they've been with the show for a long time right now. They hook us up. You love BetDSI. This is where you go now that you have a gambling addiction.
Yeah, no. Lewis, I told you specifically not to mention that, for crying out loud.
Sorry.
Yeah, listen, BetDSI, they've had our back from day one. So we do love them, and they offer a fantastic service. You will love them too if you give them a shot. They're available 24/7, 365. BetDSI.com. Go to them. Use the promo code ME25. As you know, if you listen to the show, you get $25 just for registering. And, of course, if you put some money down as well, they'll give you a 200% bonus match or triple that money. So, if you got anything that's coming up, sports-wise, anything, in fact, go to betdsi.com, because when you throw some money on sport, on whatever, current events, prop bets, whatever you want to do, it's more fun, especially when you can earn some money. So, yeah. BetDSI.com, promo code ME25. Get involved. And, Lewis, what have you got to say about this?
Well, yeah, we got a fight coming up May 19th. That's this weekend. We got Damian Maia versus Kamaru Usman. Usman being a huge favorite, 12-1, hasn't lost a fight since May 24th, 2013. He was submitted, but he was submitted. There's something to that. Was submitted. I'm sure Damian Maia's looking at that going, all right, if fucking Jose Caceres, who nobody's ever heard of, can submit this guy, I am Damian Maia. I probably will be able to do this, right? So, look, big underdog in Damian Maia. I say if you got that free 25, throw it on the underdog every single time. Why not? It's free money. Damian Maia has a puncher's chance of submitting anybody on any given Sunday. I think he's one of the fucking probably toughest tests and probably has turned into the gatekeeper of the division. So, yeah, anytime you see somebody against Damian Maia, they're trying to get that next guy off. So I say put it on Maia.
So here's the thing, Kamaru Usman, I see why he is the favorite, because he's a very, very good wrestler, so therefore he can keep the fight on the feet, and he's a good striker as well. So therefore, you look at Kamaru Usman, you think he'll beat Damian Maia. But Damian Maia, everything you just said, I echo. He is not to be underestimated. And just because he lost his last couple doesn't mean he's not super dangerous. He does have a good wrestling game. He is very, very experienced. And, of course, if it hits the floor, or he could even just pull guard or drop down for a leg lock, things like that. So he is not to be underestimated. And if you use the promo code ME25, you get $25 for free. Throw it on Maia. He's a massive underdog, and it's and he could pull it off. There's a very, very good chance you get a good return on your money. So as I say, betdiscount.com, promo code ME25. Boom, there you go. Let's move on.
All right, let's get back into it. All right, so let's talk about really quick. We got to talk about your boy Vitor getting knocked out. Second round knockout against Machida. Very similar to the Anderson Silva front kick knockout. That seems to be Vitor Belfort's kryptonite. If you just look him straight in the eye and you kind of fucking lift the bottom of your foot up and just plant that little foot right into his chin, it works. I don't know. Michael Bisping, that's the key to victory, I think, for anybody if Vitor Belfort ever fights again. Did he officially retire after that fight? He did, right?
Well, he did a weird thing. Every story has a beginning, a middle, and an end. He said that about 3 times. Like, yeah, we fucking get it. We're not in English class, buddy. I think he retired. He took his gloves off. And left them on the floor. Generally, that signifies a retirement. So, yeah, Vitor Belfort, I believe, is done. That fight, yeah, listen, both guys were being kind of hesitant. There's a lot of pressure. In a fight like that, 2 Brazilians fighting in Brazil, Rio de Janeiro, both former champions. I knew that fight they would be very tentative because, there's a lot at stake, a lot of national pride. Obviously, Vitor lost a few fights recently. Machida lost a few fights recently as well.
Yeah.
Both in the last fight, though, so mentally they might have a bit more confidence. But what kind of happened was, Belfort was kind of hypnotized. They were both stood in front of each other, waiting for the other person to strike so that they could counter or whatever. A lot of pressure in that scenario. Both former champions, both Brazilian, fighting in Rio de Janeiro. Nobody wants to fuck up. They both lost their previous few fights. All right, they both won their very last fight. They both won. Prior to that, they were both on a losing streak. So, it was a high-pressure situation. Belfort found himself just kind of standing just outside of the pocket, kind of staring at Machida, and boom, Machida landed a beautiful kick like he did to Randy Couture back in the day. And it was a beautiful kick, it really was. But if you stand in front of your opponent like that, you kind of are asking for that. Now, of course, not everybody can deliver that kick with that precision, that speed, and that power. Machida has built a career almost using that kick. So, beautiful work.
He knocked out Randy Couture with that kick, too.
Yeah. Exactly, yeah. Knocked him out, put him flat on his back, and then just kind of stood there, did a bow. Very, very classy from Machida. Machida's always been a class act. He really is the epitome of a true martial artist. So, apart from that little fuck up with the steroids, we'll forget about that. I'll give you a pass, whatever. You serve your suspension, time done, whatever. We'll leave it there. But, very, very impressive. Good job. Of course, it wouldn't be a UFC event without somebody calling me out. So Machida joined the long list of people in the last week to call me out. So Gokhan Saki, Machida, Derek Brunson, Luke Rockhold. I'm sure there's many more, but, I'm bored with it, so I'll lose count. But, job well done. Good stuff.
Is there any? Were you satisfied watching Vitor lose like that at this point, or not? Because you say before you're rooting for Kelvin Gastelum because he's the last guy to beat you. With your history with Vitor, obviously you have the loss to him. Is it more satisfying to watch him lose like that, or do you kind of want to see him be more competitive?
No, it's very satisfying to see him lose, if I'm honest. I don't care for the guy. I think he's built a career on being a cheat. The amount of insane steroids that he's done over his life, over his career, is evident to see. I mean, you go back and look at him in his early career, the guy was insanely jacked when we thought he was insanely jacked, and now you look at him and he looks like a fucking beat-up old man. And he's getting knocked out like so, and he's performing like so. When he was juiced out of his mind, just fucking tearing through everybody. So and then he has the hypocrisy to go out there and talk about being a good person and this and that. The guy's a cheat. The guy has no honor. So no. I would love to. I would have loved to have been the person to do that, but it is kind of still enjoyable to see him get what he deserves because he's gone out there and done that to many people and caused injuries. He fucked up my eyeball. He's the one to blame for that. So God bless Machida. Job well done.
All right, well, that was 224. I know you don't love talking Bellator, but I think this is interesting.
I don't mind. Go ahead.
This is like UFC news to me, in my opinion. Okay, this has not been officially signed, but both Chuck and Tito have both said that they're fighting each other. They're going to fight each other for a third time in Bellator. Chuck Liddell coming out of retirement after I don't even know how many years, at least 5 or 6 years, right? Maybe even more. 7, 8. How the fuck long has Chuck Liddell been retired?
Yeah, I'm not sure. It's been a while now. And the problem is, the problem with Chuck is that I think he got knocked out in his last 5 or 6 fights. Just bring up his record real fast.
Yeah,
I think he went 6-1 in his last 7 fights. Of course, when you get knocked out significantly so many times in a row, that can give give a few problems down the line.
Yeah.
But still, Chuck versus Tito is a fight that people will want to see.
5-1.
I think it's Oscar De La Hoya. Say again?
Oh, yeah, that's right. Is it not in Bellator? Is it going to be Oscar De La Hoya?
No. It's Oscar De La Hoya. Oscar De La Hoya is going to promote this. Golden Boy MMA, if I'm not mistaken. I know Dana White went on the, what's it called? The UFC podcast. What's it called? With Matt Serra.
The Undisputed.
Whatever it's called. Yeah, Undisputed, whatever it's called. Anyway, it doesn't matter. He went on there and said, I hope that it's a case of Chuck partnering with Oscar De La Hoya and getting into that, but it's not. It's not, of course, as you just said. I think they're going to fight. Now, of course, as I just said, Chuck has been out of the game for a long time. He did get knocked out multiple times prior to retiring. But he also did have Tito Ortiz's number. You know,
Yeah.
he did beat Tito Ortiz twice in pretty good fashion.
Chuck hasn't
so
fought
it's an
since-
interesting fight.
He hasn't
but
fought
Tito,
since.
go on.
So I was going to say he hasn't fought since June 12th, 2010, which is 8 years this June 12th. He was 1-5 in his last 6 fights, losing 4 by KO or TKO, being knocked out by Shogun, Rich Franklin, Rashad Evans, and Quentin Rampage Jackson that started off that sort of slope. And he got a decision to Keith Jardine in there as well. Won the decision over Vanderlei Silva. So Chuck Liddell went from being the most dominant light heavyweight of all time to really falling off hard. However, even today, even if Chuck's chin is completely gone, you know, Tito Ortiz doesn't really knock people out. Tito Ortiz, he's got good boxing. He set up some submissions with some boxing. I think that's how he, both Chael Sonnen and Ryan Bader, I remember he choked them both out, right? And he set it up with a little bit of boxing first. But he's not knocking dudes out. I don't even remember Tito Ortiz ever knocking anybody out.
No, he was never known as a knockout artist, but he's still capable of knocking somebody out. That's a fact. I'm super pixelated. Are we good here or what?
Yeah, you look good on my end.
Okay, all right, that's good. Tito Ortiz, you know, he's still a big, strong man. And yeah, he did retire for a while, but he has fought more recently and he has won fights more recently. So those personal inner demons have been exercised better for Tito Ortiz. He's been fighting recently. He's been winning recently. As you said, Chuck hasn't fought since 2010. 8 fucking years. I can't believe it's been that long. I mean, that is insane. And of course, as you say, he went 1-5. Internet connection problem, it's saying on this thing now as well.
There's a problem with internet connection. Hold on while we try to get them to call back. I still see you, though. Yeah, okay. Which is weird. But is that coming up on the screen? All right, we're good. Yeah, we're still good. We're still good. Don't worry.
I only just hear you, though.
You don't see me. Well, they see me.
I do. All right, okay.
Good.
So anyway. So
yeah, this is...
I don't know. It's interesting. It's interesting, man. Now...
Scott Coker said that my understanding is that Chuck is still under contract with the UFC. I'm not sure. I just thought that to be true. I don't know the details, but when he retired, I think the contract freezes and they maintain some rights. I guess there is a little bit of questionable. But wait, look, dude, where there's a will, there's a way, and if there's money involved, they'll figure that all out. I almost feel like they always do.
Chuck versus Tito. You know, I mean, it's one of those. I mean, do people give a fuck? Probably.
Yes.
Let's get down to the crux of the matter. Are people going to watch this? Do they give a fuck? At the end of the day, Chuck Liddell and Tito Ortiz are two people that helped build this sport. Chuck Liddell, Tito Ortiz, Randy Couture, you know, some other people from UFC back in the day. Then, of course, you got the people in Japan in Pride. These were the people, the generation that really built mixed martial arts. After that, you had guys like myself come in, you know, and Anderson Silvers and all that type of stuff. But these are two legends of the sport. They definitely have, you know, if it weren't for guys like them, I wouldn't be sitting here having this conversation with you. So, you know, people will tune in and watch it. I don't think it will do massive blockbuster numbers because the new fans, you know, probably aren't overly familiar with them. I'm not sure if it's the smartest thing for Chuck Liddell because he's got 2 victories over Tito Ortiz, and I don't know. I kind of feel like you got to favor Tito.
Yeah.
In this fight,
I definitely
you know what I mean? Because you got to favor Tito. I don't mean that any disrespect to Chuck. I have a lot of respect for Chuck Liddell. I just said it, you know what I mean? So, but yeah, it's an interesting one.
I would be.
Really is.
Look, I'm very consistent. When I said that GSP coming back after 4 years is too long of a layoff to fight you. There was something really to that. I believe that a long layoff like that in the landscape of MMA, continuing to move along, and being active and fighting and competing, I think that means a lot, you know. I think GSP is a different athlete. No offense to Chuck. I love Chuck. I'm the biggest Chuck Liddell fan in the world. But GSP, I think, is an exception to the rule, you know. And I think somebody taking 8 years off, and especially the way they looked in the end of their career. You got to remember that GSP also looked great toward the, you know, when he left the UFC and left that belt behind, he was on top. He didn't look unbelievable against Johnny Hendricks. Johnny Hendricks, you beat him up in that fight. But the truth of the matter is he won that fight. He was still on top. He was still GSP. Chuck Liddell wasn't that guy. He's not like he left the belt and left on top. He left after getting knocked out a bunch. I think Tito Ortiz is going to clean his clock. But I am super excited as an old school UFC fan, very excited to watch this fight. I'll watch this fight 10 out of 10 times. I'll pay $60 for it. It doesn't matter. And I guess it is going to be under the De La Hoya brand. And Chuck went on the MMA Hour today to say officially that he's unretired. So that's official.
Wow. And how old is he now? He's got to be nearly 50, I would say. He's got to be like 47, I would have thought.
How old is he?
Let's just look that up. Well, how old is he?
He's got to at least be 48, 49.
He's got to be. Chuck Liddell, I typed him. But Google is great because it'll still say
48.
Chuck Liddell. 40 what?
48 years old. Yeah,
48 years old. Hasn't fought in 8 years. Knocked out in his last 5 fights. You know, that isn't a recipe for a successful comeback. I wonder what the reason is. I wonder if it's cash. I wonder if it's just that he misses the sport. I wonder if it's just, Tito Ortiz, he fancies his chances of winning that fight. It's interesting. There's a lot of questions that it raises a lot of questions in this fight, And that, basically, this is why retiring from fighting does scare me. Because look, if you got Chuck Liddell, as I said before, one of the absolute legends of the sport, helped build this sport. The Iceman was one of the biggest stars the company had, if not the biggest. And here he is now, 8 years later, almost 50 years old, coming out of retirement. Why? One would suggest, and if I'm wrong, that he hasn't got too much going on and perhaps he needs the money. I know he was on a salary from the UFC. As an ambassador, brand ambassador, but since WME took over, I think that position kind of went away. So who knows? Maybe it's financial. And as I say, that's one of the reasons that does scare me about retiring, because it is a security blanket. Having those big paydays every now and again is a nice bit of security. And no one wants to be Chuck Liddell. Nobody wants to be almost 50 years old coming out of retirement to fight Tito Ortiz. Tito's still been working in the gym. He's down there working with Jason Parillo. We should have asked Jason about that, actually. We fucked up there. But, Tito has been winning fights recently and still in good shape. So, yeah, very, very interesting. I'm not sure if that's the right word, but yeah, it is interesting.
It's also interesting to see that De La Hoya is going to be promoting MMA. It's just like that's sort of another fact that's being a little bit overshadowed, which is, there are guys out there now that are going to throw real money into it in order to promote the sport, and that could be really good for competition. We'll see. Somebody like De La Hoya, who's used to selling millions of pay-per-views for boxing, he has to have some sort of marketing plan in place beyond it just being two former UFC guys, which is typically what every promotion sort of rests its laurels on. You got two guys who were in the UFC before. That's a part of the marketing here. But I feel like if they do it in a smart way and spend some, money on advertising and branding it in a certain way and sort of building it up, they could sell a lot of pay-per-views.
They could. The thing is, I did see Tito Ortiz saying something about now he's going to be a partner in this. So I'm assuming what he's talking about, the revenue split for fighters. I saw him tweet something about it. I forget what the exact tweet was. But anyway, so I think he's obviously happy with the deal he's getting. That's what I would make of that. It's interesting. Oscar De La Hoya getting into MMA, he's kind of launching it with two old school fighters. Of course, they are fan favorites. They are legends of the sport, but they're not exactly current. It's almost like, who's two retired boxers? It's like an MMA guy launching a boxing venture with, I don't know, who's Ricky Hatton,
James Toney,
and Oscar De La Hoya. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Great fighters in the day, but the time is behind them. So it's going to be interesting. But listen, at the end of the day, there's more markets for MMA fighters, and I'm all for that. I'm fighter first, and if fighters can go out there and it can help drive up their purses and they have more places to compete, more avenues to make more money, that is only a good thing. So that's good. What's next?
Well, we're talking about Bellator, and I want to say a special little shout out to John Fitch, who beat Paul Daly in his promotional debut. I really like John Fitch as a dude. I've had him on a couple other podcasts in the past. We should get him on here sometime because he's a very interesting guy, really smart dude as well. But 50 Cent...
I didn't see it.
I didn't even see the fight either. I'm assuming just because it's John Fitch, he won a decision by wrestle fucking him for 3 rounds. Am I right? Yep, there you go.
I would assume so also because, Joe Fisher, that's what he does. Paul Daly's a fucking stand and bang fighter. Writings on the wall. You don't have to be a scientist to work that out. So well done, Lewis. Go on. So you were just going to say about Curtis 50 Cent Jackson possibly fighting Rampage Jackson in Bellator. We do see pictures of 50 Cent sitting with Scott Coker, signing contracts or drinking water or whatever the fuck it is he's doing. But speculation is rife, and I do see that now Rampage has responded, said, I'm the baddest Jackson out there. If you want to fight, let's do it. Blah, 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 blah. So are we on the verge of seeing 50 Cent stepping into an MMA ring to fight Rampage Jackson? Because if we are, then 50 Cent is out of his goddamn mind.
Yeah.
Listen, he might be a tough guy. He might have been shot a bunch of times. He might, fucking have a bit of street cred, whatever you want to call it. But you're going to step into an MMA cage when you've never fought professionally in your life, boxing, karate, MMA, whatever the fuck it is, and go up against a former champion, Rampage Jackson. He's out of his mind. He's going to get absolutely destroyed. Rampage will maul him. Rampage will not, listen, I'm not the best version of myself anymore. Rampage, he's maybe the same, but he will destroy somebody like 50 Cent. Absolutely destroy him.
I think 50 Cent has a lot of experience boxing, but I think like gym boxing, like rich guy gym boxing, which is a little different than getting into a fight, right? So you could hit pads and go into your MMA, your boxing gym and hit a big heavy bag and look like the man. But then there's a difference when a trained killer is coming at you. And I'm talking about Rampage. He may be a little quote unquote over the hill in terms of, he's been around the sport forever. It's not the best Rampage now that we've probably seen in the past, but you're talking about a guy who can still physically destroy 99% of the men on earth. Like, that's what we're talking about here. We're talking about, like, you guys are fucking animals. You know how to dismantle people physically. This is what you do. So for 50 Cent to kind of come in, and look, I understand Bellator's side, dude. Yeah, why not? UFC is going to throw in CM Punk. We'll go throw together a 50 Cent versus Rampage boxing or fight, and that. It's there. I have no less respect for it. I think it's the same shit. I look at it as being the exact same thing. CM Punk, 50 Cent, basically the same fucking dude. This is actually him, footage of him boxing. Curtis Jackson.
Yeah, it's great. You sit in a boxing gym and you work out with the coach, and the coach tells you that you're fucking awesome, especially when your name's 50 Cent and you're a multi-millionaire and they're paying you, and you're like, oh, yeah, you're great. Oh, good right hand. You know what, 50, you could actually do this legit. You should have been a boxer, bro. You should have been a professional fighter. Man, you're badass. You're fucking amazing. Go and fight Rampage Jackson. Go and fight Rampage Jackson and see what happens. Rampage Jackson will knock you out fucking cold. Rampage Jackson is a natural fighter. He's somebody that's been around the game forever, fought at multiple weight classes, fought fucking gigantic killers, fought in Pride, fought in UFC, fought in the RFA. The guy is a true fighter. He's a very good fighter. And he's not a fucking showman. He's not in the entertainment industry. He's a fighter's fighter, And that's a bad idea. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'd watch it. I would love to watch 50 Cent and Rampage Jackson fight. I would love that. I would get a lot of enjoyment out of seeing that, simply because it's interesting, it's exciting. It's not every day a rapper steps in to fight somebody like Rampage Jackson. That'll be cool. I'd watch. But come on, as you say, it's like CM Punk fighting in the UFC or 50 Cent fighting in Bellator. Come on. The fucking professional MMA fighter who was one of the best in the world is easily going to win that fight.
Here's my problem with it. Like, call it what it is. You have to, Scott Coker and company, and even the UFC with CM Punk, just say, fine. We know it's not real. We know we're playing. We know it's just a quick cash grab. We're fine. Let's just not pretend that these are real fighters. So for Scott Coker to present this as being a legitimate thing, it's weird. Also, let's get real. Who the fuck is gonna? I don't think this could ever happen. There is no athletic commission that's going to let 50 Cent, who's had no professional fights, fight Rampage, who's had like 40 professional fights. It's impossible. Unless he did it like overseas somewhere. I don't see that happening. CM Punk is fighting dudes with 0-1 records, 1-1 records. I think Mickey Gall was 2-0 professionally at the time, maybe 3-0 professionally at the time. It was 1-0. 1-0 professionally at the time. Wow. So that makes a lot of sense. And this is, in my opinion, a lot of promotional hype. There's something going on behind the scenes. 50 Cent might want to get into MMA promoting. I think that this is just going to be a big fucking troll job. These guys are not going to fight each other. Rampage on his Instagram said, I found out the reason that 50 Cent wants to fight me is because he tried out for the role of B.A. Baracus in the A-Team movie, and I guess Rampage said he saw his audition tape and it was embarrassing and blah blah blah. This is a giant troll job.
Yeah.
Good job for Bellator for getting everyone to talk about it, though. I don't believe there's any truth to this.
No, I agree.
Here's what we'll do. We'll do some questions next week. We'll get some extra questions in because we've done an hour and 20 at this point anyway. This is a solid show. And we got to get some ads done anyway. So look, thanks so much for listening to the show. We appreciate it. We will be back next week. We're talking about changing the day. We're talking about going twice a week. There's a lot of stuff happening right now. So we're going to be filling you guys in as much as possible. For Michael Bisping, Luis J. Gomez, thank you so much.